everyone. So the first thing that we're going to do is have a quick look through your video as a whole and just kind of look at the overall picture and some of the things that you have going on really well. And then we'll go through and break down some pieces that I think you can use some of the exercises that we did to improve on. So the first thing, just with the walk in this direction, everything is really symmetrical. Your shoulders are nice and even, hips are even, knees are even, ankles are even. I really like everything that is going on there. And here, if you watch your heels, you can see that your heels are bouncing down, 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 down. That's really, really good. Really nice, subtle rising. For your posting trot, your horse looks relaxed. He's trying to stretch his head down. These are all really good things. Again, in this direction, really even. If we drew a line straight across from knee to knee and hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, everything is really nice and straight there. Even though your horse looks like he might be a little bit lazy here, he looks like you're able to stay straight. You're not trying to do anything to kind of compensate for him. Okay, we got a good rhythm. You can see the rhythm is going all the way through his body into yours. You're not moving against him. Obviously, lots and lots of work has gone into your riding to get that. And again here, really nice, subtle posting trot. Your horse is relaxed through his spine. We can see his tail swishing from side to side. That stuff is all really great. I would love to help you with that departure, get that departure a little bit smoother. Okay, so in the lope, nice rhythm. Your bum is nowhere near coming out of the saddle. You're so long-legged, so that is really nice, and it's working for you here because you're able to keep your weight down pretty well. I really like, one of the things I really like about the way that you ride is how solid your lower leg is on the horse. Your legs are, a lot of people will put their heels down a little bit too much, or their calves get kind of sticking off the horse. Yours are on, and I know Jen said that you guys did some English riding together, so I think that might be where that kind of originated from, but that's really great. You've got some elbow rhythm going on, some kind of natural elbow rhythm going on here. You can see your elbows are opening and closing a little bit on their own. I like where your head's at. You're looking ahead, you're looking up, and you're looking ahead for the most part here. And then even when, like he broke down there, I really like how, just how quietly you ride. Like, you don't make a big deal out of anything. Probably one of the reasons why your horse is so solid. You don't make a big deal out of anything. Nothing really seems to phase you. You just take them through the motions. And then I don't know your horse very well. I don't know whether he has one direction that he travels better, but you look pretty even from side to side. He does look like he's maybe getting a little bit tired, or maybe he's always a bit lazy. Maybe that was a lot of riding for him that day. I'm not sure, but both directions look pretty even to me. It doesn't look like you have one side that is weaker than the other. You're doing a little more of the work here than he is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Still looking up, that's great. Doesn't seem to phase you that you're on video. Really, really solid with your lower leg. I like all of that. Okay, so just a little bit of a lack of forward motion there. I liked how you corrected it, but we'll talk about improving that a little bit as well. Okay, pattern, here we go. We'll test your transitions. Really nice transition, right at the pylon. Nice rhythm, and the jog doesn't shock me after seeing the way your horse rode. Okay, a little bit late on the departure and the wrong lead here, and I'm not sure how often you work on picking up the correct lead off of the rail. Looks like he was pretty good on the rail, but that's definitely something that we can touch on. Then you added in a little extra circle here, but that's all right. Okay, and then your weight stayed down nicely in that stop. It was kind of a jarring stop, but your weight stayed down nicely, and then you recovered really nicely there with a nice soft backup. All right, so the next thing is we'll go through and we'll see some of the things that we think we can maybe improve on. I wouldn't really change a lot about your walk here, Erin. I think if we go through and look at your seat first, your seat is coming from side to side a little bit. Looks to me like your horse is pretty lateral and kind of lazy. So your seat is going from side to side a little bit. I would want to work on that. I'd probably work on it a little bit more in the posting trot and then try to maintain it through the walk. That's how I like to do it on a lazier horse, with some posting trot and up 2, down 1. The other thing I see from this angle is that your toes are really pointed to the outside. I think we could relax your ankles a little bit more and get your toes pointed a little more forward. So this angle is pretty good for seeing that your hip goes back and forth from side to side just a little bit. There we can see that your toes are pointed to the outside a little bit more than what we would like. A lot of people do that when they're trying, they're kind of consciously trying to keep their heels down. So that might be something for you to try, would be not worrying so much about keeping your heels down and see if you can let your toes kind of point more forward. It's the outer part of your ankle that you need to try to relax if you're going to try to work on that next time you ride or something. It's really the outer part of your ankle that needs to relax a little bit more so that your toe can point more forward. You almost want to feel like the inside of your boot touches the horse the same as your calf does. Okay, and then in your lope here, you are getting tipped forward ahead of the vertical a little bit. So your bum's kind of coming into the back of the saddle and your shoulders are coming forward. Can you see that? Here, I would rather that your upper body stay upright a little bit more, almost like the energy is shooting from your seat straight up into the rafters, rather than feeling like you're kind of tipping forward a little bit or almost pushing or pumping him to keep him going. And then when you do that, because he's kind of lazy, you're going to have to use more leg and kind of force yourself to sit back and not help him so much, and then bump him with your leg a whole bunch to get him more responsive to your leg so that you don't get stuck doing more of the work here where you're kind of leaning forward and pumping just a little bit. And right there on that corner, so you handled it nicely as far as not getting worked up about it, but you did look right down to the inside at the ground and your shoulder dipped right down there. So we really want to be conscious of that. Remember, we talked about the Barbie body position and swiveling from the waist. This corner was better, but you're still actually looking down a little bit there in that corner.
Yeah, just go.
The other thing that I think we can do here that will actually make a big difference for you, Erin, is that your shoulders tend to roll in a little bit. So you have a good natural rhythm with your elbows, but you're just rolled in a little bit with your shoulder. Instead of having your shoulders kind of pulled back and opened up, like your shoulder blades are pinching together, really opening up through the chest, kind of rolled down a little bit with your shoulder. And the easiest way to fix that is going to be for you to be really mindful about keeping your thumbs up more. So your wrist is kind of bent down, almost like your thumbs are going to stick out straight side to side, which makes your shoulders roll in. If you can imagine like you're giving the thumbs up sign more, that will open up your chest a little bit. And then doing some more of those exercises that we did in the clinic, where you're really conscious about bringing your shoulders up and then back and pinching them together, and then down and lifting up your chest. I'm doing it here as I'm sitting here watching your video. I don't know if you can even tell the difference in my voice when I do it, but you're much stronger and much more efficient in as much as you're giving the horse a better direction because your body is straighter and your breathing is better. You're not holding your breath. When your shoulders are rolled in, you're forced to just hold your breath a little bit. It forces your hip to come back just a little bit and stay closed. And that was kind of the other thing that we talked about, right? Was that your hip is staying closed and you're just tipped forward a little bit. So I think all of those things are actually going to come together for you. And I said I wanted to touch on the laziness here and the break of gait a little bit. That all ties in. So if you can get so that you're not tipped forward where you're kind of only riding the front half of him, and you're having to kind of push and pump with your seat, if you can get your upper body back a little bit, open up your hip a little more, turn your thumbs so that they're more on the top, then you'll be able to get him so that he's in more of a neutral position. Instead of feeling like you're kind of dragging him around all the time, he'll be able to be a little bit more self-propelled, almost like he's on autopilot, and then you speed him up or slow him down from there. So it's subtle, and your riding is very good. You look really nice on the horse, but if you can fix those little things, it's going to feel really different. Okay, and then there, when he picked up, so he broke, he picked up, and then you had to send him back out. When you sent him back out, he was kind of sticky about it, like, almost doing that like lope on the spot. I don't want to go, but I guess I have to. If you can get behind his motion by bringing your shoulders back and opening them up, that opens up your hip, and that transition will be way better. Okay, so your pattern, obviously we can see your hip moving in the rhythm. Your shoulders are just a little ahead of the vertical. If we could get those shoulders back a little bit, it would allow your hip to open up a little bit better. And then here, this is kind of the same thing I was just talking about. If we can get your upper body back, but you brought it back a little bit there, and then you got that little bit of a wiggle through the middle as he departed. If we can get your shoulders back and your core a little bit stronger for that departure, it's going to make a huge, huge difference. So it almost looks to me like your upper body almost looks like you're in a 2-point position, right? You're kind of tipped forward and got a little bit of a wiggle through the middle. Okay, the stop was good. You sat down well. You looked down a little bit. We could have stayed looking up, and I can help you a whole bunch with a sharp stop if you want. If you want help with that, that's kind of the name of the game in the reining. So we could pretty easily talk about how to melt your body, soften it downward for a sharp stop like that. The other thing that I think would be really nice to touch on would be the use of the outside rein when you're traveling to the left, especially you're having to use your outside rein kind of down into the side in your left circles and in your pattern. I noticed it. But overall, Erin, really great, and you did a great job with the exercises in the pattern. So I think that you'll be able to make a lot of progress with those things. And if you want to come back and have me help you with those kind of specific things, we could definitely touch on that stuff and get you into good shape that way. Thanks again for coming to the clinic, and definitely let me know if you have questions about any of this stuff. And happy riding!